Mabuhay, Kamustika, welcome, how are you? This is Bob from Love Beyond the Sea. Is it time for a social media fast? You might have to think about that if you are going to hook up with a Filipina. This is an idea for those who are frustrated that social media might be interfering with their relationship. I want to suggest the idea of getting away from the internet and social media for just one day a week and how it could help your marriage. Please subscribe to Love Beyond the Sea, and I will offer help for the foreigner who is in or would like to be in a relationship with a Filipina, woman from the Philippines. Get notifications by clicking on the bell, then clicking on add. That will complete the process. Why would a social media fast by the Filipina be good for couples, even for just one day? Excuse me, that time again. Normally, the Filipina has had more experience with social media. It is more ingrained in her life, but there are men who use it a lot or instead get caught up in the internet. The internet would be my equivalent of social media compared to my wife. If this is true of you, it may be helpful to encourage your Filipina to take one day off a week of social media if it's getting to be a problem, and you will lead the way of sacrificing a day of internet searching. YouTube, you name it. For a woman, Facebook, Instagram, and who knows what else is out there can be a temptation for her to kind of ignore her husband, as women tend to be, more into that sort of thing than guys are. I try to avoid giving advice to women, such as the Filipinas in a relationship with a foreigner. I think it's best left to other women. In this case, I'm giving the men food for thought, and I think it applies to both. If they think that encouraging the Filipino in their life to avoid social media for a day a week would improve their relationship, they can free up some time themselves. This would show her that he takes the relationship seriously. If she has immigrated to be with you, like my wife did back in 2016 for me, she will likely require a lot of time on social media to stay connected with all those friends and family, probably thousands of miles away. But you will know if she is spending too much time on it. Or if you are friends and you'd like to get closer, but feel social media is getting in the way, here's what you could say to her. There would be more time for other things to do. Social media can take up a lot of time. What would happen if we took one day a week fast for social media and the internet? I know that scares some of you just to think about that, but we would and me too, we would probably get more things accomplished by virtue of having carved out a whole extra day to do it. If you choose a weekend day to fast from social media, that would free up more time than a weekday would. Well, that is a good thing. The next is even better. There would be more time with each other. This is especially true if one or both have jobs. There seems to be a relatively small window of time to relax and communicate or to enjoy some activity together. My wife and I spend time together with both of us on our phones, but being together doesn't necessarily mean interacting if neither is paying attention to the other. It is just too easy to fritter away time this way. Another reason it would help build an emotional connection, taking a short social media fast, would help build an emotional connection. I would think that leaving the internet alone for a day would help the couple connect emotionally better. I tell my wife that a marriage, even ours, is either getting better or it is getting worse, but it isn't just standing in place. An extra day a week to pay attention to each other and see how we are doing would help any foreigner and Filipina. They will have a lot of differences and require more time than usual to adjust to each other. Let me know what you think about this. I mean, have you had to make some social media adjustments or suggest some adjustments on your Filipina's part? Another reason taking this fast would help is it would refocus your attention. I think it would give your brain a break by allowing it to focus on something else. A lot of what we spend our time with on social media or the internet lacks real substance, don't you agree? It is helpful in keeping up on important relationships, but can also become a way to gossip or get wrapped up in other people's lives instead of the one that matters most, and for me, that's my Filipino wife. self-control. Hopefully doing this would seem valuable and reinforce the habit. Now, here are 4 bonus pointers from an article I'll link below about ways to avoid being a social media marriage casualty. Here is some very good advice from the article that comes from familylife.com. Real quick, number 1, keep everything in the open. If you don't have a joint husband-wife account on Facebook, for example, like they say, make sure what you say online is nothing you couldn't say with your spouse standing right there beside you. Before messaging, ask yourself, is this something I wouldn't mind my spouse seeing? And I've made videos and talked many times on this very point of having social media transparency. Number 2, the point they make, say what you need to say and say it to the right person. Rather than gripe about a marital problem on social media, talk directly with your spouse. If you think it might hurt feelings or get you in hot water, then think of a way you can soften the blow when you raise the issue. Number 3, use social media to build each other up. They say it's never been easier than it is right now to send a note to each other for no reason at all, or to brag about your spouse in front of others. Social media makes it easy to connect with each other while you're apart during the day, and that will keep a relationship from drifting. They say just make sure that what you say online is reinforced by what you say and do when you see each other in person. And number 4, when you're together, come together. It's very easy, even when you're home, to drift to your own individual social media corners. By the end of the evening, you realize that you've hardly spoken a word. This happens with parent-child relationships as well. Set your personal devices aside and plan some FaceTime, the real thing, not the Apple product. Above all else, remember these 2 driving principles of building and maintaining a relationship. 1, the value of your relationship depends on the amount each of you invests in it. I can't agree with that more. I've said that many times here. You get out of something what you put into it, and it can take time before you start, seeing some dividends. The value of your relationship depends on the amount each of you invests in it. Sometimes, though, somebody has to be the leader and kind of lead the way. And then their second point there, if you aren't intentional about growing towards oneness, you're automatically drifting toward isolation. That's similar to the comment I made that things don't stay the same. Many years ago, there weren't as many distractions or potential distractions like we have today. We can't go back in time, but we are able to place some limits on the things that can interfere with strengthening our relationships. If you are with a Filipina and feel that she is spending too much time on social media, that's possible, be patient, but let her know that you are willing to reduce your internet time 1 day a week, if you spend a lot of time online, coinciding with her, to allow for more time for your relationship to develop. Now, I can go a day without some things, but not without my love beyond the sea.